Hi, my name is Raymond Capaldi from Hare and Grace in Melbourne. Today we're in Chef Masterclass kitchen, and today we're going to cook with farm pride eggs, whipped buttermilk, sorrel, passion fruit and a beautiful poached egg. And basically what we're doing is to make the skin. Now when I put my knife just like this, you can see a little skin. It's like a face pack. This is how we're going to make it. First we get the passion fruit, and then we get the agar-agar into the pan. Agar-agar can be found in any good supermarket or any good health shop. It's very healthy, it's made from seaweeds. Agar-agar melts at 90 degrees, so that's the reason why we're going to put it on top of the egg. It won't melt, it's a perfect 90 degrees, and we really don't want the egg to be too hot, because what we were trying to do is we're trying to make the egg like a custard. When you bite into it, the whole egg, the cream, the passion fruit, the whipped curd is all going to go together in your mouth, so it coats everything and it gives you that warm, gooey feeling. So we're going to put it on the stove, then we're going to bring it up to about 100 degrees quickly. Now when we put the agar-agar in, we must make sure the passion fruit is very hot. When you're putting it in as well, you must make sure that you sprinkle the agar in, not in large clumps. It's very important that we don't get any lumps in the passion fruit. So we've actually brought it to the boil, and as you can see now, there's actually no bubbles in there, and we really don't want the bubbles because it won't give us a really beautiful flat sheet. Turn your sheet and just let it slide down. Now you don't need to grease the sheet, you just make sure you get it evenly onto the plastic, and it's pretty easy to do if you just get one of these lids, just on a nice piece of stone or anywhere that's nice and cool. It will take 1 minute to get that beautiful film that we need. So what we've got 250 mils of the buttermilk, and then we're going to give 1 big teaspoon of sugar. Now we're going to add a little special here, which is like pink peppercorns, beautiful pink peppercorns, nice and spicy. It gives you a nice sort of almondy bitterness taste. And then we're going to put it on the stove and bring it to the boil. So with the gelatine, we're actually putting a little bit of water just to get it nice and soft before it goes into the hot buttermilk with the pink peppercorns. So in it goes. With the buttermilk, you don't want to boil it too hard, because at the end it'll probably split on you. So with this, you just make sure you just bring it up to a nice little warmth, and about blood temperature, a little bit hotter. Once we do that, we're going to put it through the sieve. So all the flavour of the pink peppercorns is actually gone into the milk now, so it's a beautiful taste. Basically here we've got one that we've done earlier on, and this is what we're heading towards, a really good, bouncy, hard, set milk. And basically you put that into the fridge for about 1 hour to 2 hours and make sure that it's very, very cold. The next part of the dish is rose petals. Now these rose petals are edible rose petals. So we're going to put this into lactose powder, and really you should do this about 2 days before you start this dish, so that the lactose powder actually dries the rose petal. And classically, normally, they usually do egg white and sugar. Again, we're trying to cut out sugar, so there's all your tasting is the main products, the buttermilk, the egg, the creaminess of the egg, and a little bit of sugar with a little bit of lactose powder. You know, it's nice to have different colours of petal leaves. Just don't keep to the same red. We've got some pink, we've got some red here, and then we'll just keep them covered about 10 minutes. So here we have the finished product for really cool, really cold buttermilk mixture. Now what we want to make this up to, we want to get to the texture of a meringue. So basically we're going to put it into the KitchenAid, whisk it up, and it's going to go nice and frothy. Then we're going to put it back into the container, let it set for about a minute, then we'll scoop out the little flottantes. But again, you can just see it's like beautiful meringue without the meringue. And it's buttermilk, real sourness, sweetness with a little bit of sugar. Okay, another tip for poached eggs, or any egg dish that you do, always make sure that you're at room temperature. The reason why is it takes longer to cook, and you want to make sure that the egg is nice and creamy, so you're not overcooking the egg. So it should always be at room temperature to poach an egg. First of all, you make a vortex in the water. As you see, the vortex is basically this big whirlpool in the centre. Now that's where your egg's going to be. Where that big gap is, that's where you've got to put your egg. So it swirls round quickly. Now in this water we have some apple cider. Again, we're not using white vinegar, we're using apple cider, again to give it that sweetness, and again, some sourness to the dish, which is very important. You don't want the egg yolk to be hard, so you've got about 3 minutes in here, always feeling, touching, making sure that you understand that the egg yolk has really got to be very soft, because that's what's got to be like your cream or your dish, just to give it that richness through the dish. Then we put it onto a cloth to drain off the water and making sure there's hardly any water on there. What we're going to do is just dust it with a little bit icing sugar. Now to the point where we start plating up. Now we have a little piece of the mixture left over from the little skin that's going to go over the egg. Slop it over, make sure you don't break the yolk. A little bit more icing sugar on top. Again, it's encasing the egg and passion fruit. When we get the flottants, we put the spoon in, twist it around so you're making circles. You bring the flottants out. These garnishes are not on here to make it look pretty. They're here for to make the taste and to make sure that the dish has got all these different flavours and textures again. There you have it, whipped buttermilk, passion fruit and poached egg. Something different, you must try, enjoy.